Professor Shobana ma'am, Professor Prahan Kumar sir, and I also invite our director, Professor Dr. Anand Baliyogi sir, to moderate this session. So over to the panelists and over to Ananda sir. Please, please. Sir. So just a word of introduction, a short introduction. I'm not going to take much time. Gopal sir, as you all saw him in the morning, registrar and principal of this Mother Teresa Institute. And we have Devsena Bhavnani ma'am representing ICYER, and Yoganjali, she's the director of Yoganjali Natyalayam. Especially the dance wing of Yoganjali. And we have Professor Lakshmi Jatia ma'am, who was the head of Department of the Physiology, but now taking care of the Students' Affairs as Vice Principal. We have Professor Shobana ma'am, who is the admin in charge of the School of Music Therapy of ISCM. And we have Professor Prahan Kumar sir, who is the HOD of the Community Medicine Department of Mahatma Gandhi Medical College, and our director of Institute of Salitogenesis and Complementary Medicine. So over to Ananda Baliyogi sir for the session.
Namaste, a very good afternoon to everyone, and welcome back post-lunch to our panel discussion on holistic health and healing through yoga. And as Dr. Meena has already said, we have an eminent panel here today from diverse fields, pharmacognosy, our Gopal sir, but more than anything, his expertise in also the Indian systems of medicine, I think is a very important one. So, we have that dimension, we have the physiological dimension, we have a cultural dimension, we have a community dimension, and we have a music therapy, medical simulation, physiology dimension, all these dimensions coming together. So I want to make sure that we keep in time. So going straight into this question, I would like to ask our panelists for a minute or less to just give us a general opinion. What is their concept of holistic health? The term is holistic health. How do you perceive it? And we'll just go from Shobana ma'am to Prahan sir, because it's easiest to pass the mic that way. Over to you, Shobana ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, sir. I would feel that when I am at ease, that is holistic health. When I am at ease, physically, mentally, psychologically, as I am now. Thank you.
Like today morning also, like we were talking about holistic medicine. Holistic, actually, the term itself says whole, complete, sound. That is what is whole. So the holistic medicine is aiming at wellness, complete wellness of an individual in all dimensions of health, be it physical, mental, social. Then now these were already there in our WHO definition of health. Physical, mental and social well-being, not necessarily like there is no deficiency. You can fall ill, but there is no deficiency of any illness. You can fall ill, but these are the three dimensions, important dimensions, which were considered by WHO way back in 1948 itself. They have defined health. But holistic, when we say holistic, it is taking into other two dimensions also into health. That is, we are talking about spiritual health, and we are also bringing in emotional component. After long time, WHO has also realized it, and now it is bringing in the other dimensions of health, like environment has come, finances have come, and then other like spiritual and emotional that I've told. And with the advancement of mankind, more and more dimensions will be added up. This is what I feel. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, ma'am. Gopal sir.
Yes. This is a post-lunch session. So the blood supply to Madhya Pradesh will be more. Jammu and Kashmir will be starving. So if you treat this as a whole, that is holistic health. So eat fruit as a whole, treat man as a whole, and remember he is a part of the whole universe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes.
So holistic thing when you namaste everyone, and thank you for the opportunity. When you think when you see the person, you get the nice smile, and you get the energy. Seeing them, looking at them, you want to be with them. As Amaji says, always keep smiling. That's even make holistic, and of course, in the higher thing that whoever finish the, I mean, they do the dharma. The Amma was quite often telling, do your dharma, do your dharma. That's the teaching we are getting from the Bhagavad Gita. So when you do your dharma, of course, no karma will be there, I think, of course. With that, when you do the karma, automatically you are going to fulfill the Chaturveda Purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Of course, it's going to be holistic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Devsena.
Very good afternoon to one and all. At outset, thank you, sir, for this opportunity to be part of this eminent panel members along with them. Holistic health, I think almost everyone has summarized very beautifully. So it is one aspect, all of us read about the definitions, but one thing what I understand is holistic is where we are not only considering the physical body, which is one of the biggest challenge today, where when we talk about healthcare, we focus only on the physical health, but almost multiple dimensions are to be taken care. And one of the beautiful, I would say, like correlation is our Indian Sanskrit word for health, which is swasthya. Swasthya means swa sthai, which means where the self is settled within. So where it is like when one person, oneself is really settled and calm, we can talk that we are healthy. And that is possible only when we are in harmony with other individuals, with nature and with everyone. I think when we are in harmony with oneself and others, that ultimately leads to holistic health. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that perspective. I think that was a very short and sweet round. Coming to some specific questions, I would like to start with Dr. Gopal sir. What role do our traditional systems of medicine play in health and healing?
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, sir. We all know about Indus Valley civilization. So the people in the Indus Valley civilization, their main occupation was grazing, but they did not have any grassland. So in a search of a grassland, they wanted to travel, but they were not nomadic. So people from Afghanistan invaded them and taught them how to become nomadic. So they entered India through the Khyber Pass. When they entered India through the Khyber Pass, water was at abundance. 5 rivers in Punjab, perennial Ganga. So more water, more plants. So with the available water and plants, they came out with a system of medicine, which they call it as Ayurveda. Veda means science. Ayur means life. So science of life, that is called Ayurveda, number one. Number two, we had a very big continent called Lemuria. So that continent compassed Java, Sumatra, Sri Lanka, Madagascar, all this up to Australia. It was a very big continent. So that continent was attacked frequently by tsunami. So they say there were 8 tsunamis. So every time the continent used to dip into the sea, people were running for a higher land. So running for a higher land, they entered India through the southernmost tip that is called Kanyakumari. So when they came in, they were always surrounded by water. So water is a reflection of UV rays. So they were, to protect them, God has given in more melanin. So they were dark skinned. But when they entered India through the southernmost tip, there was no water. There were no perennial rivers. What was available was only minerals and metals and a few plants. With the help of those minerals and metals and few plants, they came out with a system of medicine, which we call it as Siddha. But the problem was the entire Siddha system of medicine was written in Tamil. So Siddha system was medicine was born, brought up, and nearly became sedate during the British period. And so that is the Siddha system of medicine. Both Ayurveda and Siddha coexisted. So there was no problem between Ayurveda and Siddha. They both coexisted. Then for 300 years, we were under the Mughals. So the Mughals, when they came to India, with the available medicine plants available in their place, that is a xerophytic in a desert. So what is available in a desert? So with those things, they had developed a system of medicine called Unani. So when they conquered us and when we were under them for 300 years, they shared their system of medicine with our system of medicine. So that is how Unani started entering into our beautiful India. We have a strange habit. Anything given for free, we immediately consume it as a whole. Even so, that way, Siddha was taken. Unani was taken as our system of medicine. So Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani. Now there was one modern doctor by name Samuel Hahnemann. So in his notice board, it was written that they are going to felicitate Jesuit priests who have been successful in spreading Christianity in South America. So he went to attend that felicitation, and in that felicitation, he asked the priest a simple question. In South America, people have their tribal religion. How did you penetrate? They said it is very simple. People in South America, they suffer from a disease called malaria. Actually, in our system of medicine also, we don't have any medicine for malaria. But the tribal, doctors who take care of the tribal king. So they have knowledge about a bark called cinchona. So with that bark, they treat only the royal people. They don't treat the normal man. So those priests have never eaten chocolate. So we gave them chocolate. They gave us the bark. With that bark, we started treating all the people. So all of them were healed. They were looking as God. And then we introduced them to our God. So this is what they were saying. So Samuel Hahnemann said, that is your problem. Give me a piece of the bark. I want to do research on it. So he took that bark and he started eating it out of curiosity. The bark was extremely bitter. Some people like bitter taste. Coffee is bitter. We like to drink again and again. So he started consuming. He ate nearly half of the bark. By the time he went home, he had all the symptoms of malaria. He is in German. In German, there are no mosquitoes. In German, nobody is suffering from malaria. He is well sure that he is not suffering from malaria, but he developed chills on the spine. He had ringing sense on his ear. He had high temperature. So in the morning when he woke up and he thought, see, I am a healthy man. I have consumed the bark of cinchona. I am having the symptoms of malaria. But what did the priest say? If he is a malarial patient, we give him cinchona bark, he becomes normal. So I am a normal man. I have taken cinchona. I have the symptoms of malaria. If I am a malarial patient, if I take the bark, I become normal. Then he took a paper, pen and started writing simila simile curantrum. That means like cures like. When you cut onion, you will get tears on your eyes. When you have cold, you will have tears on your eyes. So for cold, you take onion, you will be cured. So that is like cures like. But he did only one experiment. He called all his friends. And then he said, see, these and all the list of poisons that are available. All these poisons I will give you in minute doses. What are all the symptoms you are having? You write it down. People who are having these symptoms, we will give the dilute dose of poison. He will be cured. So that is the only experiment he did. With that single experiment, this system of medicine became very successful. He made another one thing. See, if I start diluting, that is called potentiation. So the more I dilute, the compound is not there. The signature of the compound is there. So watermark is there. So that is how the system became very popular. Now this system, because everything is very dilute, there is no side effect, there is no adverse reactions. So people started accepting. No adverse reaction, no side effect. So people started accepting, especially in children, especially in asthma, especially in allergy. So this became very popular. So we also adopted that homeopathy as our system of medicine. So there is one place called Tibet. There is in that place, you see, everything you have to walk uphill. You cannot carry a bag like this. You have to carry the bag like this. So the plants available are different. So with the available plants for the people who are living in hilly region, they came out with a system of medicine that was propagated by Dalai Lama and his people. So that we call it as Amchi or Tib system of medicine. So today morning, as I said, there is two places. One is Oma Puliyur and another one is Kanatam Puliyur. So in Oma Puliyur, our great Patanjali came out with a way of life. So that we call it as Yoha. And Vyagrabhadar came out with a way of natural life. So that is called as naturopathy. So put all this together. This is called Ayush. AYUSH, Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, Homeopathy, Naturopathy. So all put together. So these and all are our Indian systems of medicine. Now, we have been under the British for 200 years. Till we were under the British, when the British were saying, this is my system of medicine, you accept. No, we said, no, we have our own system of medicine. But when they left us, in our mind, they made us feel that our system of medicine is inferior. So the moment they left us, after we got independence, we started doubting, is my system proper? Is this the right way? No, their system is very fine. A person with white skin will not say lie. So we will have to accept him. So they are modern, they are civilized, they are ultimate. So we started blindly following them. And after our independence, there was a very big decline in our belief on our system of medicine. So when that decline started coming in, the world started approaching our system of medicine. They started doing research and they were saying, array, your system is super than our system. Then now slowly the belief is coming back. So in our genes itself, you take an Indian. What will be his normal lifestyle? He will get up between 4:30 to 6 because it has been told to him, ye Brahma Muhurtam hai, is samay mein aap utna chahiye. So it is part of his life. So once he gets up at that early time, the next thing he does is for a walk. So at that time, we didn't have the habit of having a toothbrush. We have to walk and break a twig of neem and then bite it, chew it, make it into a brush. And then I have to brush each and every teeth. That is why even today, though we are brushing all our teeth, we call our toothbrush as toothbrush and not teeth brush. Because we are habituated to brush each and every tooth. So singular we do. So that is a part of our life. And then after we finish brushing it, we remove the bark and then we use it as a tongue cleaner and then we use it to floss and then we throw it. That is biodegradable. Now the brush that we have, no, every 3 months you have to change. But how many of us change? I was a warden of a pharmacy college. B.Pharm is a 4-year course. People come with a toothbrush and after 4 years, they get the degree and take back the brush carefully. 4 years, single toothbrush. So what were we using? We were using salt and charcoal as toothpaste. Then the British came and said, no, don't use that paste and all. Then they introduced a normal paste. In that paste, there is sodium lauryl sulfate that causes ulcer. So when we said this to them, now they're asking, in your paste, is there salt? In your paste, is there charcoal? That is advertisement. That is what we had. That is what we had. Now we were made to forget it. And now they're asking, in your paste, is there salt? In your paste, is there? See, actually, we were making use of our finger for massaging our gums. See, teeth can take care of itself, but massaging the gums is very important. But now that whole habit of massaging the gums is lost. We feel inferior to use our finger to eat, to use our hand or a finger to brush our teeth. So there is a change. And now it is a rotation. We come back. In the early morning, what was our staple breakfast? Parayadu. So the rice that was cooked yesterday, that was soaked in water and it was kept. And in that rice, because of yeast, there will be yeast fermentation and the rice will become more assimilable. So it will have a very good glycemic index. But today, slowly we were made to fall prey to the system of breaking our fast. So they say you are under fast for 18 hours. Now break your fast. With what to break? We have to break it with their style that is called bread. Recently, I read the definition of bread. Bread is born from the yeast and settles in the waste. So that and what do we have with it? It is jam. So in jam, what do you have? All preservatives and extreme amount of sugar. So what were we having? We were having parayadu, so full of yeast. But today that cannot be taken because if you take the same rice and if you add water and keep, next day morning if you take, you will get a bad smell because yeast cannot grow because it's that pesticide residue. So the pesticide residue is preventing the growth of yeast. So parayadu is not palatable. It's not. So we are discontinuing the habit, though we know that parayadu, that is what you call the soaked, stale, fermented rice is good for health. The next one is, if you take an what you call our yesterday lifestyle. So exactly at 10 o'clock, he used to go for buttermilk. So we all know that peacock is our national bird, tiger is our national animal, national microorganism is lactobacilli. So anybody who comes in, what would they give? So buttermilk. But now that habit is gone. So they go for toilet cleaner and other things. So in the morning, you should eat like a king. In the afternoon, you should eat like a prince. In the night, you should eat like a beggar. So in the morning, you should eat like a king. That means you should be choosy. You should be royal. In the afternoon, you should be like a prince. You can eat whatever you want. In the night, you have to eat like a beggar. In those days, beggar will get nothing. But today, beggar is getting everything. I am not getting anything. So there was a lifestyle. And this lifestyle was totally based on our traditional practices. Now, 200 years under the British, 300 years under the Mughals, 500 years of slavery, nothing happened to us. But after independence, we started feeling that our traditional system of medicine is inferior. So we have lost faith. And that loss of faith has made an attitudinal change. That attitudinal change has made a lifestyle change. And that lifestyle change is towards the wrong direction. To putting it back, we have only one tool, that is yoga.
Wow, wow, wow. That was a non-stop, phenomenal exposition of the history and the interpretation of our Indian systems. I don't think anybody can forget what Ayush is anymore because of the way it has been brought in. And I love that national microorganism is lactobacillus. I think that's just amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Gopal sir. I want to go next to Dr. Lakshmi. What is the physiological perspective when we talk of health and healing? As a physiologist with decades of experience, what is your perspective on this?
See, we all know that we physiologists believe in homeostasis. That is the internal environment of the body in which all the cells thrive and they keep us healthy. So physiology is nothing but maintenance of milieu interior. All organ systems, all cells, all tissues are directed towards giving us they all work in perfect harmony with each other, perfect coordination with each other, and they are all striving hard to bring us or to give us a healthy life. Only when it does not mean that we cannot have any disease or anything. We can have, but we also have the definite healing mechanisms that are inbuilt. The only problem now is we do not give time for those compensatory mechanisms to take care of our health by itself. Before the compensatory mechanisms, they start working, we go and seek help. So nowadays, many modern medicine practitioners who have total belief and faith, they also are shunning away these chemical compounds. The commonest medicine which is being used is paracetamol. You have headache, you take paracetamol. You have fever, you take paracetamol. And it has got deleterious effects on our liver. So that is where, like, we have to think what we are doing. Health will be taken care of, provided we maintain all healthy lifestyles. Then only our all body organ systems, everything will come and work in perfect harmony. And the internal environment, that is the homeostasis, will be achieved. So this is what I think is the physiological, like that is how our body is kept healthy. Only when we fall prey to all these unhealthy habits, we fall sick. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, ma'am. So I think here the key message is give some time for healing to occur before trying to interfere in it. And we don't have the patience, and so we become a patient. That's actually a very nice way to look at it. I would like to ask Devasena Bhavanani, because she's also a singer, a dancer, a musician, plus a yogacharini. You teach a lot of people the bhajans, especially in the ashram, all the students who come learn bhajans. What is the role of that in the mental and emotional health of the individual?
Thank you. Bhajans, when they're singing, they can easily focus and of course give the more quiet, calm, peace within themselves. And of course, when they are singing, of course, they won't be thinking anything else. when they started to sing like a Hari, 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 Shri, Hari, 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 Nara, Hari, 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 Mura, Hari, 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 Shri, Hari. When they started to sing like that, definitely they are not going to think anyone, even though they called Hari. Ultimate truth, the ultimate Purushottama, Hari, they are going to think in their mind. Just simply the music, whenever they sing, it's just give the joy. They want to, jump and get up and jump and dance. That's what they give the emotional balance also. So anytime, because music simply, when we are just hearing one song, automatically we started to follow. We just started to sing. So that's the greatest support we have in the music.
Yeah, please. Thank you for that beautiful singing. I haven't heard her sing that, so it was very nice for me also.
So it was very nice, Devnana, Devasena. I mixed both. Yeah. So when she was singing, I totally was immersed in that music. So she was singing Hari, 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 Hari. So that Har means you take away my like whatever pain and whatever agony I'm having, you take it away. That also is another meaning. You are not only calling him, but you are also inviting him to take away all your pain and agony. Why do we go for satsanga? We go for satsanga because we like it. Satsanga means company of good individuals. We go for bhajans because we like it. We totally forget what she told. And that is because, again, I'll bring in that amygdala, right? Again, that is a very beautiful part of our limbic system. So where it is located, when we sing bhajans, which is the auditory cortex? Auditory cortex is located here in the temporal region of our brain. So what is located else? There is only limbic system is there. There is only amygdala is also there. Amygdala, hippocampus are important parts of the limbic system. So what happens when we sing? The amygdala, like it is, this is a center where it is responsible for fear, rage, anger. That is the seat of it. So that is kept depressed. So that is another scientific reason. Like that morning also, I told you that it is responsible for conditional learning. We like it, we go. We like it, we go. Why do we like to go for concerts? This is one of the reasons that we like to go for concerts.
Wonderful.
This is what I have to say. Thank you.
That was such a beautiful, you heard the practical experience and what lies behind it. And it's just so beautiful.
So I
And
will
that
just,
leads,
supplement with one more point.
yes.
If you take the pronunciation, so Krishna, in that the important letter is Ish. When you say this letter Ish, so the tongue starts massaging the sublingual gland. So Ish, you swallow all the saliva in your mouth and just to say this word Ish, Ish, Ish. Automatically you can find saliva flowing in because the tongue is massaging the sublingual gland. So when the sublingual gland is massaged, there is more saliva. More saliva means our brain has a feeling that my body is getting hydrated. So more hydration, more emotional well-being.
And of course, salivation and vagal tone, parasympathetic. It's just beautiful how it all ties together, which goes right into the question for Dr. Shobana, because, she is both a physiologist as well as an expert in medical simulation and music therapy. So what is the role music therapy that is being practiced as our medical music therapy? How does it promote health and healing?
Thank you, sir. After such great speakers, I don't have anything at all to say. Anyway, so you had asked me how music therapy improves healing and health. Actually, they are not two entities. Healing is a pathway to health. So if we take that healing is a pathway to health, many of us were telling there is harmony when we do. So the previous stage is establishing harmony, healing, and then health. So So imagine I need to go to New Delhi. From here, I cannot jump to New Delhi. So I need from here to go to Pondi, from there catch a bus, go to Chennai, and from there to New Delhi. So it is like a relay race. Now, being a physiologist and integrating it with music therapy, let us see how at all music could reach harmony, then to healing, then to health. First of all, when you sing or hear music, it is activation of all your sensory system. The auditory cortex, maybe when you're with a group, your vision, and music therapy, it is not only singing, it is in doing musical activity, the rhythmic activity. So your sense of touch and your motor system. So all the senses together starts activating, apart from your limbic system, your prefrontal cortex. So a little of physiology knowledge here. Prefrontal cortex is what we human beings have. It is the cortex which we think, which we keep growing once we become mature day by day. So all these senses go and activate the prefrontal cortex, and from there it tries to control or activate the limbic system. Limbic system is the animal brain to say, which is of crude emotion. I really get angry, but I cannot show I have to control it. How can I control? I think, and because of my prefrontal cortex, it is control. Whereas if an animal in the road, if it is angry, it won't think to Shobana, I cannot show, and it stop barking. It will bark at me. Whereas my subordinates have to think to her, I cannot bark, and they have to control it, whatever it is. So these senses go and activate the prefrontal cortex, and they help the prefrontal cortex get the control of the limbic system. The other way is the prefrontal cortex acts on the hypothalamus, which is the head of everything. Now, from hypothalamus to reach your harmony, there are again three ways. From Pondicherry, I can either go by a car or a bus, or I can take a two-wheeler, whatever it is. So for harmony, there is either the neural mechanism, the endocrine mechanism, and immunological mechanism to reach harmony. So music, by activating the prefrontal cortex, by activating the hypothalamus, establishes balance on all these three systems. And one mention here is, contrary to what we all think music therapy is, it is not just listening to music, it is engaging in musical activity. And as it was told, engaging in group activity, like you chant together, you do something together, you do the rhythmic movements together, it activates the sense of well-being, and there is a shift in the neural mechanism and endocrine mechanism. So multiple ways music acts on all the three systems so that there is an inner harmony. The next step will be the healing and the health. Hope I had clearly.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a very comprehensive perspective there.
It seems in professional singers, like it is not the auditory cortex that gets activated, it is actually the visual cortex that gets activated because they can visualize the musical notes.
So beautiful, so beautiful. You know, coming to Dr. Prahan Kumar, who's in community medicine, I was just wondering, what is the role of the community in health? And when we want to communicate health in the community, in the wider society, how can we do it?
Yes, sir. So when we talk about, all of us are well aware about the definition of health and the various dimension. Health is not a single dimension. It is a multi-dimensional concept where apart from the physical, social, mental, it also has the component of economic, cultural dimension, education dimension, many other dimension. So with this principle, what we understand is health is affected not only by the common understanding of any microorganism, but also the condition where one lives. So it may be the environmental condition, the cultural factors, the social structure of the society where one lives or grows, the type of education we are exposed to. And all these factors are nothing but part of the community. So when you talk about the impact of community on health, it is almost, I would say, like very significant impact, because when we suffer from any kind of illness, it is not at individual level, but at a community level. talking like today we are dealing with so many of challenges, like almost with youngsters, especially with addiction or kind of even the mobile de-addiction or mobile what you say, the digital detox we are talking about. Now this is also a societal impact. It is not that one person started, but at the community level that understanding has grown and everyone is trying to follow that. And coming to the point of communicating health at a wider perspective, traditionally we can say that the mass media is one of the best way. But I feel that mass media, like it may be any kind of social platform, social media, what we are using for communication, that addresses only the information component. And information alone never achieves any kind of change in health behavior. So when we talk about health communication, ultimate aim is we want the community, we want the people to implement and follow that particular behavioral change. And for that, I think the understanding of the model of health education is important. And in that comes the picture of the motivation model and also the social intervention model, where most motivation model is nothing but when we communicate about health, we have to think about the IEDs. That is the topic, whatever you are addressing, that should generate interest in the community or the individual. Then that person should evaluate the various aspects of that particular intervention. And finally, the decision making. D is for decision making, where he decides that, yes, I have to implement and follow that. Only when we are able to achieve this motivation, we can expect some change. Likewise, the social intervention model addresses the next stage where the individual motivation still can fail if the change doesn't happen at the societal level. Because a person may want, for example, best example is a peer pressure, where one student feels that, yes, I think addiction may not be good for me. It may affect my health. However, if the group where he belongs, if they don't have that understanding or the societal understanding is not there, still he may not be able to implement that. So when we talk about communicating health in a wider perspective, we have to think that that communication should not end with dissemination of information, but somewhere the motivation and the social intervention should occur so that the real change in health happens. Thank you.
I think that was very beautiful because we got to see that, we often just think, put the information out there and, it will make the difference. But as you said, unless the person believes in it and practices it, the change is not going to happen. And I think your point about peer pressure is so essential to be considered when we want to talk about health, because you may want to be healthy, but what if your family doesn't? You may want to be healthy, but what if your friends don't? You may want to be healthy. What if the apartment in which you live, nobody wants, you get up in the morning at 6 o'clock and they think it is midnight. So then how do you get up in the morning? Because you will become the alien. You will become the unsafe stranger. So I think one issue for me is this peer pressure. And I don't know, it's a very tough one to deal with, especially for the young people, because for them, the parents know nothing, the teachers know nothing, only the friends know everything. And how to deal with that? Google knows everything. And so, the importance of cultivating that satsanga, but at another level amongst the young people. And I think this is one thing that we try to do, like through the yoga, is create a positive peer pressure. So your friends are all healthy, so you want to become healthy. You're all the behavior of your friends is towards positive health. So you will become part of it. So rather than the negative peer pressure, trying to create a positive peer pressure, this is what our work with the young people is. I was thinking again, going back to Gopal sir, you have done extensive research on medicinal plants, especially those which are, I believe they use the word ethno-cultural biology. I think that's what the term I have heard. And can you share some of those aspects? It would be just interesting for us to know.
Sure. Thank you very much for this wonderful thought-provoking question. We will start with COVID. So when COVID was at the peak, somehow we wanted to overcome it. And being in Tamil Nadu, what was available was Siddha system of medicine. So in Siddha system of medicine, there was a Siddhar called Idaikadar who has described a similar situation. So people were suffering from COVID. So they had gathered in the temple. At the time, temple was the only place where all these decisions were taken. They said, all of you now distribute and each one occupy one hilltop. So each one occupied. So social distancing at that time. And the next step, that was what? You have to build your house in mud mixed with grains. And then take all your cattle with it and feed the cattle with the leaves of calotropis. So once you eat the leaf of calotropis, you will start itching. So that goat and all, after eating the leaf of calotropis, they will go and rub their body on the wall. And from that, the grains will fall. So you have to cook, and that means you have to eat little so that you have to save for the rest. So like that, things were going on. And then he devised a beautiful formulation that is called Nila Vembu Kudineer. Andrographis paniculata. That is the active ingredient. So, but apart from that, see, as per Siddha system of medicine, if you accidentally discover the medicinal property of a plant, then it becomes a home remedy. So for 30 years, when it is practiced in and around your circle without any side effects, when you improvise it, when you update it, then it is called as a native medicine. So when it is practiced for 30 years again as a native medicine, then it is absorbed into a system of medicine. So like that, this Nilavembu Kudineer, Andrographis paniculata, it was mixed with 9 more ingredients, and all the ingredients have to be taken in equal proportions, and that was formulated as Nilavembu Kudineer. And that was an immunity booster that was meant to save people from COVID. But all this information did not reach the people. So as soon as this information was broadcasted, people started picking only the Nilavembu, that is Andrographis paniculata. They put it in water, they boiled it, and they started drinking it. And next day morning, everybody was having mouth ulcer. One of the ingredient in that is sandalwood. So the sandalwood was added to prevent mouth ulcer. But sandalwood is very costly, so conveniently people left it off. Then people started using their knowledge. They wanted to help somebody. So people started preparing here Nilavembu Kudineer in the early morning at 4:30, and it was sent to Karaikal. By the time it reached Karaikal, it was 10 o'clock. It was distributed in the afternoon, 12 o'clock. The shelf life of Nilavembu Kudineer is 3 hours. Because it is an aqueous extract. After 3 years, you have the growth of microorganisms. When growth of microorganisms and fermentation take place, the medicinal property is lost. So Nilavembu Kudineer will have to be prepared then and there, and it has to be taken, number 1. Number 2, Nilavembu Kudineer is thermolabile. If you heat it beyond, then it will lose its activity. But people were making extracts out of it, making tablets and giving it. Only God can save us. So the first work for me was Nilavembu Kudineer doesn't mean it is a single ingredient. It has other ingredients. And in that, this ingredient, because its name is Andrographis paniculata, in the alphabetical order, it is number 1. That is why it is called Nilavembu Kudineer. So you have to take all the other ingredients also in the equal proportions and prepare it at home. And you will have to take it on an empty stomach in the prescribed dose. And after taking it for 2 hours, you are not supposed to take anything, and you have to freshly prepare every time and take it. So this was the first awareness we had to create. So right from the health department, everybody was saying, take Nilavembu Kudineer. Okay, but this is not the way to take it. You can't prepare it and give it in en masse in the railway station, in the bus stop. Everybody was giving Nilavembu Kudineer. And people, see, because it was very bitter, people started adding sugar. Somebody started adding jaggery, and it was made into a payasam and given. No, that is not the way. The bitterness has to be there. Then only there will be vagus stimulation. So bitterness index is there. So that was the first work which I had to do. So when the raw material itself is wrong, when you you make a formulation, and then you do quality control studies, and then you do stability studies, and then you do packaging studies, labeling studies, and the end you give it, means what is the fun in it? So and still it is having activity. That is the greatness of it. So if they use the original Ashoka bark, then what would be the activity? So then we started giving counseling and awareness on raw material standardization. So the raw material that you keep, you make that fellow stop there itself. You take that raw material, you do microscopical evaluation, you do organoleptic evaluation, you do physicochemical evaluation, you do physical evaluation, you do all this evaluation, and then you ensure that it is the same raw material, then you allow it to come in. So when these started practicing, that we call it a Schedule T. So now the effect of this medicine is very high, number 1. Number 2, what happens is there is a label claim. In that label, it is written there are 40 ingredients. But in that 1 or 2 ingredients are not available. Who is going to see? Come on, do. So without the label claim is not satisfying the ingredients inside the formulation. So if madam was saying paracetamol, if I'm saying paracetamol anywhere from any company, I do a say 95 to 100. That will be there, but that cannot be here because in each and every ingredient, there are 40 plants. In every plant, there are more than 40 phytoconstituents. So these phytoconstituents have a biological variation, they have a geographical variation, they have a seasonal variation, and they interact with the other phytoconstituent. I do not have an analytical method to prove the quality of the 40 ingredients, and people are enjoying with it. Nobody can find out what I have added. So the label claim, proving the label claim was very, very difficult. So why did we have this problem? In yesteryears, Indian system of medicine was practiced for free. You should not take money. When I'm practicing it for free, why should I adulterate? Why should I substitute? Now everything is for money. When vitamin M is taking the driver's seat, vitamin M means money. When money is taking the driver's seat, ethics will take the back seat. So in yesteryears, it was for free. So no adulteration, no substitution, no quality control. In yesteryears, I was treating people just for the pleasure of treating people. So I am a Vaidya. I treat only people. I'm having a farmer who is my patient. He is growing rice. So the first bag of rice that he grows is for the temple. The second bag is for the king. The third bag is for the Vaidya. If there is a person who is weaving, the first meter of cloth that he weaves is to the god, second meter to the king, third meter is to the Vaidya. So when all my needs are taken care, the health of those people is my responsibility. If anything falls, if any person falls ill, that is a disrespect to me, that is a shame on me. So the health of the village is my health. So that was the commitment. So no adulteration, no substitution. So everything was tailor-made medicine. But now everything is scale up. So I don't believe in preparing a medicine for madam, preparing a medicine wholesale for the whole of Pondicherry, for the whole of Tamil Nadu, bulk preparation. So in bulk preparation, there is a scale up studies. The technology that is available in all the Ayurveda system of medicine is you can prepare 50 ml. With that, you are going to prepare 50,000 liters as one batch. There is a scale-up problem. Light from mixing. Everywhere there is a problem. So that scale-up studies has not been done. And all our system of medicine, that medicine is made as a tailor-made medicine. When madam comes to me, I will prepare medicine and give it. When sir comes, I will again prepare and give it. So it is, I prepare it as per the need. Now, when I'm preparing it for the bulk, then stability studies has to be done. That studies nobody has done, because the same medicine I prepare it here, it is going to Kashmir. In Kashmir, the climate is different. In Rajasthan, the climate is different. In Cherabunji, the climate is different. So when it is going in these places in different packagings, what would be the effect of the environment on this drug? Nobody has tested. So these and all are the problems. Just to prepare means, so far being under the British, we have lost hope on our Indian system of medicine. We went to the modern system of medicine, and we found the modern system of medicine is running behind our system. We turned back to our system, but in our system, there is no quality control. So where do we go? So that was my second thing, that is to establish the quality. And the third thing is still horrible. There is a beautiful plant called Taxus brevifolia. So from that, they get a medicine for cancer that is called Taxol. So this Taxol is present in this tree that is 8 years old. So my guide called me and said, at the time I was doing my doctoral studies in Gujarat. So she called me and said, I will give you one vehicle. I will give you one forest range officer. I will give you a taxonomist. You go and you number all the trees that are 8 years old. So I traveled the entire Himalayan belt. Not even a single tree was there. All the trees were cut off. Then I asked, why did you cut it? Sir, 2 साल की पेड़ है तो वहां मिलेगा. 8 साल की पेड़ है तो अभी एक आदमी देके पैसा देके गया था तो मैंने वो पूरा काट के उनको दे दिया. So for the purpose of money, all the 8 years old trees were cut off. So this Taxol is based on a secondary metabolism where that metabolism develops only when the tree is 8 years old. But all our 8-year-old trees we have cut and we have given off. So when I went and represented this, we had one person from Korea. He stood up and he nearly spat on my face and said, see, in Korea, we have a plant called ginseng. From my Korean airport, you cannot bring even a small seed outside. we will cut you then and there. So that is my possession on my medicinal plants. But from you, India, they have taken all the trees that are 8 years old, and still you are smiling and saying that none of the trees are available. So the way in which he took it patriotically, I was not able to take it. So my duty now was to go back to all those villagers and say, see, if somebody comes and gives you money and asks you to cut a tree, please don't cut it. There could be something behind it. It's not everything money. So you ask somebody why he is asking for the tree. Can it not be useful to us? So that was the third thing. And we all know about turmeric. Turmeric, we have been using it for ages. But when two Indians, they went to America and then patented turmeric against India for America. And we had to fight for 6 months and spend nearly crores of rupees to get back the turmeric. Now, what is the problem is lack of patriotism. And where does this end up with? Most of our medicine getting patented abroad. They have better scientific facilities. They do it immediately. So then we got associated with the traditional knowledge digital library. It is called TKDL, the government of thing. So now what we do, we go to every pharmacy college. We ask the students to go home, meet their grandparents, write a note of all the formulations that is known to the grandparent, and upload it in traditional knowledge digital library, so that tomorrow nobody can patent it. So these are some of the 1 or 2 areas on which we are working. Thank you.
Oh my God. This is like the missile man, Abdul Kalam. This is missile speaker, Gopal sir. It's amazing, you know, the struggle to preserve our traditional systems. And as you are talking about it, I'm just thinking so much of it is applicable to what has happened to yoga also. And we have to be so careful that we are not selling our soul for plastic. And I think that is just so important that we have the value for the treasures we have. Thank you so much, sir, for that. Coming to Dr. Lakshmi, Madam, as a doctor, how can we communicate healthy lifestyle? See, we have people coming to us. How can we communicate? Everybody knows about healthy lifestyle, but how can we communicate and take it forward?
I have a very short answer to this. Be a role model. Once you are a role model, just practice, just preach what you practice. Then I think everything will fall in place. Thank you.
That's the best answer, actually, because what do children follow? They follow what the parents do rather than what the parents say. And I think this is where we really have to get the parents and the teachers and everybody to be that role model. What a beautiful, beautiful example. And we have the most beautiful role model, Madan Mohan sir, in front of us. Seriously, he has never taught something which he doesn't do. Never. Either if he doesn't do it, he won't teach it. As simple as that. But everything he's taught is something he would have done. So experiential. Coming to Dr. Devasena Bhavanani, you know, as a dancer, how can the dance, Natyam, promote health in people who are learning dance and performing dance? Natyam, to be more specific.
Dance also like a leading arts like yoga, because dance and yoga, many things, I mean, almost same actually. The higher energies when you're talking about, and you want to experience that. So similarly in the dance also, like even the, like Ados we starts, and even the Alaripu when we are doing the item, even when you are reaching to the item level, it's like we call the Alaripu even, it's like starting like a simple movements, like we are going with the high movements, takka dhimmi, takka jonu, takka dhimmi, takka jonu, mainly the eyes movement and the neck movement. Then you start the hands and with the leg, then just like going fully. Finally, I mean, offering your whole body, like a Surya Namaskar with our own body, we are offering our Namaskaram. So with the whole body, offering, Arpanam we call, as we have the 9 with a, 9 type of Bhakti and Bhakti Yoga, 9 types, like that, just like, offering our whole like a Saranagati we call. So like that we, like the dance, it's very possible like yoga because all are very, very close, and with the higher energy, we can experience in that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, the role that dance has played in so many young people. I think, you know, you have seen how the young people, the joy they get out of it. And we talk about endorphins, enkephalins. I think we see that come out so much when the youngsters are dancing on stage. And again, in the parents were so proud of the kids who are dancing also. Beautiful. No. Coming to Dr. Shobana ma'am, you know, as a person who's now deputy director in medical simulation and an expert in that field, I was wondering, you know, when we want to take yoga therapy and, you know, educate therapists on holistic health, what aspects of medical simulation can help us in that educational process?
Thank you, sir. It is actually a new perspective to think. First of all, to this audience, a simulation is nothing but you create something which is like real. Okay, so it can be in a computer, a virtual reality, the games we play, it can be the mannequins, it can be anything like that. Now, of late, medical simulation is taking a big role in medical education. So in yoga teaching, medical simulation can have a role because yoga therapists are also healthcare providers. So when we think as healthcare providers, I feel simulation can be useful in two areas. One is a yoga therapist has to first talk to the patients. He has a lot of counseling. So in terms of a therapist-patient communication, simulation can be there. You cannot teach a simulated patient because you want actually your patients to learn. So before teaching the yoga, how you talk with your patients and build that relation. So you can use simulation for counseling or to teach counseling for a yoga therapist. That is number one. Number two, you can use simulation when you examine or when you assess a yoga therapist in your exam. So you can have, there is one group called as simulated patients who are like real patients who behave. You can train them. So for example, if you have 10 of your students, you can bring 10 patients who are similar and your yoga therapist can do the training on them and you can evaluate them. So in two ways, one is a therapist-client communication and counseling. And number two, in the assessment of a yoga therapist, simulation can come in.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's a very new dimension. Can I ask you a little bit more about the simulated patient? Like in the sense of, do we give them a script or what happens there so that just a few more of us can understand?
Yes. So simulated patient, the other term is standardized patient. Both are same. Anybody can be a simulated or standardized patient. For example, our Balaji Vidyapith got 30 of our women from the Bahur village and we called them, we trained them. In foreign countries, professional actors become simulated patient. Sometime a doctor or a teacher can be a simulated patient. For example, you sit with your student and you be a patient, ask your student to talk to you. It can be like our attenders, non-teaching professionals. Here, our attenders are subjects when we teach to record blood pressure, when we teach to do cardiovascular examination. For example, myself and Lakshmi Madam, Ananda sir were students, we would examine our departmental attenders as subjects. So anybody can be a simulated patient depending on the policy of the institution or how you can pay and all those things. That is number one. And number two, you have to train them to behave like a real patient. So before that, you need an elaborate script. The script should have the personal details of the patient, their behavior, their occupation, and presently what complaints they have. And they should also know what questions the students will ask and what to answer for that. For example, they can be used for many situations like getting the history, counseling, and to teach our students how to behave like a doctor, to teach soft skills, we use simulated patients. The two important criteria in a simulated patient methodology is to train the simulated patient and to prepare the script. But once if these two are done, then the work becomes simple.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that, because I think it's a very good dimension in our training of future yoga therapists and music therapists through the ISCM. Going back to Dr. Yes, ma'am.
These simulated patients, what madam was talking about, they are very smart people. They even like after like OSPI model, when we use them, some like usually in OSPI, we are there observing. But sometimes in foreign countries and all, the simulated patient is there. The doctor is not there to see what is happening. These simulated patients are so trained enough to give feedback also, how you have performed. So these simulated patients are actually very good in training.
This is a very nice dimension to this.
Yes, sir. One interesting thing, we had one attender Gokul in our department. Few of them know. So when our students used to do this in the exam and all, when they have to do some jerk, if the students don't know, he will say, "Inge tattungama, inge tattungama." So they are very smart, as madam too.
Going over to Dr. Prahan Kumar, we have been talking about the World Health Organization, including spiritual health in its definition. Now, there's a bit of controversy because some people say it's not yet there, some say it is there. And as you know, that definition comes under your department, I think you could clear it for us. And also, what is the spiritual health? How does the WHO and community medicine perceive it?
Thank you for that question, sir, because it is a high time we address this issue, or rather this aspect of spiritual health. As you correctly said, overtly WHO has not mentioned in its definition the spiritual component, although they have addressed it as a separate dimension. There is a dimension of spiritual dimension, and they mention very briefly, there is no clear-cut definition given for spiritual health. And even today, although the dimensions are multiple, but whenever we talk about health as defined by WHO, it is called as a triad of physical, mental, and social aspect only. However, recently there has been significant, I would say, like increase in the awareness among the medical fraternity and the scientific community about the spiritual health. I would say, like, thanks to our government of India for the significant activity towards promoting Ayush, because globally it is being recognized. Last year we had the WHO director who was in Gujarat to inaugurate the WHO Global Center for Ayush. So like there's many development is happening, and that is a positive sign where the recognition of spiritual health is improving. Talking about spiritual health as a term, there is no fixed definition, but there are one of the definitions says it is the state of being where an individual leads a life in a manner so as he responds to the day-to-day life issues or challenges in a manner where he is growing, or rather it leads to realization of one's full potential and leads to realization of the meaning and purpose of life and fulfillment from within. So this definition beautifully summarizes, because spirituality cannot be defined, frankly. However, this definition summarizes one key aspect, that spirituality is, or spiritual health addresses the inward oriented approach. One big challenge what we are talking about health or disease is it is mostly outward oriented. We are addressing the challenges outside us. All the causative agents are outside us. And that is a common approach towards health and disease control. But spiritual health addresses the challenges within us. And it is kind of, I would say, like spiritual health addresses the balance between the inner and the outer. So when we talk about somebody being spiritually healthy, it means a person is in a balanced state with his outer as well as inner. And that is why Swasthya, which I earlier addressed, says Sthai, which means where the self is settled within. So when we are settled within, automatically that is healthy. And I think our ancient, when this term was coined, they had this wisdom. But today we have somewhere, again, as Gopal sir very beautifully said, we are going around the circle and we are coming to the point. And that is why now spiritual component has been addressed as the fourth dimension of health. After this triad of physical, mental, and social, the next component is considered as a spiritual health, which is the fourth dimension.
Thank you so much, sir, for that clarification and clarity, because, we are always saying WHO says it, but then, as you said, it's still the triad is what is mostly in the definition, but there's this expansiveness that I think we all have to be alert if we are to treat health as something which is holistic. Otherwise, it's, as you said, externally oriented. Yeah, please.
Just to add one more point is we have to understand spirituality is also confused with religion. That is also significant. We have to, all of us as we have to realize, and both are separate. Spirituality, as the definition said, it is something inward oriented. So any practice which helps us connect with our inner being is spiritual. So which includes music, dance, meditation, yoga, everything is spiritual. Whichever leads to realize our inner self and kind of bring a balance between ourselves, that is spiritual.
So such a beautiful clarification and clarity there. Coming back to our last round of questions for our experts, to Dr. Gopal sir. Yes, Tamil culture. This is Tamil Nadu, though Pondicherry is a union territory, it's still the same culture. They'll come to the edge of the seat. When we talk about Tamil culture, we have a lot of healing traditions. I just wanted your thoughts on it. The healing traditions of Tamil Nadu.
276 years back, the British came to India. When the British came to India, they settled in those places where the climate was similar to Great Britain. Ooty, Kodaikanal, Kulu, Manali, Coorg, Simla, all these places. So when they settled in those places, all the hilltops, we had jackfruit tree, mangustan tree, we had different types of tree. So in biodiversity, we were number one in the world. So when we were number one in the world in biodiversity, when they settled on all the hilltops, they were dependent on tea for their morning beverage. In India, tea was not available. So they started getting tea through the sea route. That used to take 3 months. In 3 months, the fragrance of tea is lost. So they introduced tea, Thea sinensis, into India. When Thea sinensis was introduced into India, that too on the hilltops, all this mangustan tree, jackfruit tree, teak tree, they were all cut off. And Thea sinensis was introduced. The lifespan of Thea sinensis is 40 years. So in 40 years, we were number one biodiversity in the world. We became 12th in number. So all the Simla, Kulu, Manali, Ooty, Kodaikanal, Coorg, all hilltops, only tea. So now tea has become excess. So what to do? They were looking at us. At that time, we were drinking coffee. Coffee is from a tree called Coffee Arabica. So from there, you get a fruit, you take that fruit and only that fruits that are fully mature, then you collect the fruit, you allow it to ferment and then you wash it in water, you will get a seed. You take that seed, you roast it, then only you will get fragrance. And that roasted seed is used only as a fragrant flavoring agent. So in all places in South India where you have red soil, you get a rhizome called Chicory intybus. So you have to uproot that rhizome, you have to remove the outer skin, make it into small pieces, dry it and make it into a powder that is called chicory. So now this chicory plus coffee in the ratio of 1:1, 50% chicory, 50% coffee was the morning beverage of Tamilians. Now when the British came and said, see, we are drinking tea, you are drinking coffee. In tea, we have caffeine. Caffeine is a central nervous system stimulant. What is there in coffee? So we gave our coffee. They found out, in coffee also, caffeine is present. But what is that something you are adding? We said it is chicory. They did research on chicory and said, chicory doesn't have caffeine. So chicory is an adulterant. Chicory is a substitute. So the people are trying to cheat you by adding chicory. So 50% coffee, 50% chicory. When the British said that chicory is an adulterant, we reduced it to 40. 60% Coffee, 40% chicory. Then we thought, oh, then also it is adulterant. So 30% chicory, 70%. 90% coffee, 10% chicory. Now pure coffee. Now granulated caffeine. We are not taking any chicory. Now, when the consumption of chicory has been stopped in Tamil Nadu, the British did a research and then it said, like, see, you all have a digestive system. In your digestive system, it is a 360 degrees, it is 365 days, it is working, 24 hours a day, it is working. So you have to clean your system. To clean your system, you need fiber. There are two types of fiber, soluble fiber, insoluble fiber. So we have done a research and we have found out that which plant has the maximum amount of soluble fiber, and we found that it is in chicory. Now, in your stomach, there are good microorganisms, there are bad microorganisms. For the good microorganisms that are helping in your digestion, they have a delicacy. What do they eat? So they eat a substance called inulin. Where is this inulin present? Inulin is present in between cell wall, in the middle lamella. So where is this inulin present? In all cereals. So which cereal is having the maximum amount of inulin? They have taken 500 cereals. They did research and then they found that in chicory, maximum amount of inulin is present. So now in America, chicory capsules are available. People who go to America, they buy chicory capsules and come back and they're gifting me. Gopal sir, मैंने अमेरिका गया था, आपके लिए चिकरी लाया था. दरवाजा जरा बंद करो, उसको जापट मारूंगा. अरे बेचारा, मैंने एक चिकरी के साथ काफी पी रहा था और तूने बोला चिकरी अडल्टरेंट है, सब्स्टिट्यूट है, चिकरी मत पियो, और तू अभी रिसर्च करके बोल रहा है चिकरी अच्छा है, काफी मत पियो, सिर्फ चिकरी ले लो. This is the tradition of South India. See, our forefathers were so intelligent, they were able to find out that in the early morning, if you can take chicory, then it is having excellent amount of soluble fiber. It will clean your entire intestine. And it is having so much of inulin that it is a delicacy. It is a probiotic. It is a prebiotic for all the microorganisms in your gut. But what our forefathers did, they did not teach us that we are having chicory for this purpose. So when they said chicory is an adulterant, then we threw away chicory. So that is the worst part of it. And in yesteryears, each and every Tamilian was practicing pranayama. For him, practicing pranayama is only one word, amma. So when you say amma, there is abdominal breathing, shoulder breathing, chest breathing. So pranayama starts and completes with amma. The more time you say amma, the more you are doing pranayama. So British thought, you have to kill him. How to kill it? You introduce the word mummy. Mummy means mummified a dead body. So amma is pranayama, mummy is dead body. So from pranayama, we came down to dead body. See, vaazhai vaazhavaikum. So in each and every house in Tamil Nadu, we have a plantain tree. So we used to eat only in a plantain leaf. Plantain leaf is having a wax coating. On that wax coating, bacteria will not grow, virus will not grow, fungus will not grow. But and it is biodegradable. And in that plantain leaf, you have potassium oxalate. So when you put that plantain leaf and when you put hot rice and when you pour tamarind extract, that is rasam sambar. So tamarind has tartaric acid. Tartaric acid reacts with potassium oxalate. It becomes potassium tartrate. It goes in and this potassium is good for the heart. Now we have computer vaazhai. So that is made up of only wax. So in that you put hot rice and then you put tartaric acid, all the wax will go in. Next day morning, all thing will come out, but wax will remain. Microplastic will remain. So, see, in those days, in a house, if there are 4 people, only mother will cook. If there are 40 people, only mother will cook. If there are 400 people, only mother will cook. A mother who is cooking for 4 people, when she is cooking for 400 people, there could be an occupational hazard. There could be a cut. There could be a burn. For that, the only first aid that was known was plantain tree. So that is why in every function, first you place the first aid box, that is plantain tree. If there is a fire accident, cut the plantain tree, take the middle pith, take the juice, apply it on the skin, so the burn is cured. But instead of that, now out of cereal set, they are putting a plantain tree. So the plantain tree was there only as a first aid box. Now in bulb, in serial light, they are putting a plantain tree. If there is a cut, I'll have to break the bulb and apply on it. So everything was with a meaning. Now there is no meaning. See, the plantain leaf, it has a midrib and the leaf is exactly divided into two portions. This side is carbohydrate, that is only soru, and that side is poriyal, kootu, korambu. So that is mineral, protein, vitamin. So each should be balanced. That is why it is there. And then that leaf, in the corner, they will keep salt. So they'll then sprinkle water. With this water, you have to take the salt and smear it all over the leaf. That means you are sanitizing the leaf with salt. In front of salt, all microorganisms will die. Now salt, they are thinking we are adding for adding taste. And that is there only as a formality. Till the end, nobody is even touching it. So everything was with a meaning. I was sitting on the floor and I was having my food. So every time when I bend and then when I take, there is a massaging of my, diaphragm over my intestine. So the peristaltic movement was very good. So now they made me sit on a table and called me a dining table and asked me to have my food. So when I'm sitting on the table, my leg will not be normal. So I start wagging my tail. So more supply to the blood supply to the leg. So less blood supply to the Madhya Pradesh. So no digestion. So when I'm having my food, there was a good eating practice. I should sit in cross leg. While eating, I should not speak. I think Balaji knows very well. If I speak when I'm having my breakfast, my father will give one bang on the back. So and all family members will be together. All will be silent, but we will be emotionally united. And so in those days, when I remember Balaji's case. So when he was very young, his father and mother used to sit together, put one plate for Balaji, and they used to eat. And Balaji will look at his father, he will look at his mother, and then as they are sitting, he will eat. Nobody fed him. That is why he is so healthy. So nowadays, these mothers, they take the baby on their waist. And then they show them the entire Pondicherry. And then they feed them, they pour water, they put one stick inside and somehow make that. Our tradition of health was great. It was ultimate. But only thing is, we didn't understand the scientific background behind it. And everything was in proverb. காலையில் இஞ்சி நண்பகல் சுக்கு மாலையில் கடுக்காய் மண்டலம் உண்டு வந்தாய் கோலை ஊன்றி நடக்கும் கிழவனும் கோலை வீசி ரஜினிகாந்த் போல் நடப்பானே. So in those years itself they have written. So in the morning you have to eat ginger, afternoon you have to eat dry ginger, night you have to eat embolica. So why? So in the morning, ginger has volatile oil. So volatile oil helps in digestion. You are starting a new digestion process after a fasting break of 18 hours. So in the afternoon, it is dry ginger. In dry ginger, there is no volatile oils. There is gingiberine, gingiberol. So all this are helping in reducing the inflammation. So much of research has gone into it. Neer suriki, more periki, ney uriki, unbavardam, per uraika, pom pini. So another proverb. So water, you have to boil it. You have to reduce the volume and then take it. Now, buttermilk has to be diluted and take it. You are not supposed to take curd. And then ghee, you have to melt butter and take it immediately. Ghee doesn't have a shelf life. But you go today, 9 months shelf life, ghee is available. So all is bad cholesterol. So our science is far ahead. But only thing is, now slowly we have got belief, but at that same time, we have got an attitude to give importance to convenience and comfort rather than our health. So this convenience and comfort is preventing us from going back into our traditions. So these and all are the contributions of Tamil tradition, and our responsibility is to appreciate it and to follow it. Thank you.
In the command, this type of command over knowledge, language, you are phenomenal, sir. You are phenomenal. You are phenomenal. We could go on listening to you because, that the combination of knowledge, wisdom, experience, how much you have put into knowing what you know today. I think that is what I surrender to. That effort. Because it doesn't come. It just doesn't come. And the way you brought out the tradition, I think seriously makes us all think a lot. As we are running very late and we want to give the prizes in the valedictory, I am just going to ask our panelists, I will not give the mic again to Gopal sir. But the rest of the panelists to just in about 30 seconds, any concluding message they want to give us, starting from Shobhana ma'am.
No words to say after hearing sirs. We are all mesmerized, sir. We are in a trance stage. Yes, sir. It was such a great experience and learning.
Yes, I've never heard an orator like him. Like the entire panel show was stolen by sir. Hats off to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Of course, sitting straight, we can remember at least that quite often we will, remind ourselves to come to the erect position, at least the alignment in the body. Quite often we'll remember ourselves, reminding ourselves, of course, as our Guru, Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani Ammaji, Guru Mata says often, quite often, keep smiling, keep going. So that I want to remind myself. And of course, it will be helpful for all. Thank you.
I also had the same point that I think sir session should not be a panel discussion, a separate session on Tamil tradition. If we would have got received because of panel discussion, we had to stop. Otherwise, we would have heard him long. But summary, I would say, like, I think this panel discussion was really very informative because we covered upon music therapy, spirituality, physiological aspect, and sir's beautiful contribution on tradition and this thing, traditional medicine as well as the Indian system of medicine. So for the audience, I would suggest that this is a very good, important takeaway that we remember our tradition. And as much as possible, as sir said about interacting with our grandparents, I think that was a learning takeaway for me. Definitely, I would do that and try to get at least some input from them, because definitely as a parent today, we know that another 20 years, I don't know what we are going to teach the children. Even a simple family function, we don't know the simple traditions also. So that is a very good take home, that we have to carry forward our tradition and also think about the holistic health, not just focusing on physical, but try to approach in a very multidimensional aspect so that we all of us contribute in a way to the society, for our own self and for the society, a very positive holistic health services. Thank you.
Especially your explanation on chicory is the take home lesson.
Thank you.
The interpretation, I really wonderful.
I would like to request Madan Mohan sir to just say a few words and give away the mementos of appreciation to our panelists.
I was wondering if there's something like humorous wisdom. That's what was the manifestation of that. Many points are there. What is the topic of this? I came late, no? I came late, I don't know. What is the topic of this?
The topic of the conference.
Many today is this one. That is the topic. So a few points I want to ask you, with so much knowledge you have. Just last banana leaf, you had so many points you said. One point I would say, if you have a grandmother or father, then you are most likely eat what they eat and how they eat. So that's very simple. Anyway, one thing, banana leaf, I was wondering, the leaf, you put the mixture, blend and take it as a fiber. Do you know anything about the Somlata, Sombuti, Som? What it is? Any idea? Somlata. Somlata. Som. You know, Britishers had told us, about Britishers. They told iron invasion theory, then iron migration theory. I was just this about this. So they give all wrong information. They say Som is the alcohol, which is absolutely wrong. I am reading now Veda. So many Chandrama also, no? It's cool. Ras is ras. Any Kashmiri, Tamil, Hindi, ras is juice. It's not alcohol, it's food. How can it be alcohol? We are taught in the book, so much was there. What is Som Latha, Som Bhuti, Som plant? Any idea? It is one. It is one. Nobody, I don't know what, but it is supposed to grow with this. Any? No, it can't be cannabis. It can't. They used, no, what if they used to use for the making juice and drinking also. Maybe some drinks may be there and also for home. Agnihotra, Somnatta. But it's actually extinct, maybe. Achha. A few points I would say this one. I don't know now, I am away from philosophy for a long time. You know, they mentioned you mentioned about the prefrontal, the limbic. It's like a horse. You are the horse and without any reins. It is still, but that's wrong. Because what you said is correct, very much. But books mention without any control. And they forget about the corpus callosum, this point. So this is proper one. The video also says the motivational video instead of the simulation are motivational videos. Video. And so simulation, you have actual videos of practice. Instead of simulation, those who are doing good yoga practice, pranayama, anything, you have videos. What is the need for the simulation?
They talk with the patients. So instead of directly speaking to the patients, that is not possible.
Patient. Oh, patients. Okay. And then also, Gopal sir, the herbs, the season affects their constituents. That is there. When you harvest the herbs and how you dry them in very hot or the shade, it makes the effect there. And then also Acharya, somebody said Acharya, make a role model. Acharya. Acharya means Acharan se jo sikhata hai aapne, that's there. And there's one verse, I don't know from where it is, probably Dakshinamurti Sutram. Chitram Vattatarur Mule. Chitram means not Chitra. Chitram means I'm surprised. Vattatarur Mule. Ped ke mool mein Vriddha Shishya Guru Yuva. Guru Sumanam Vyakhanam. Botla ne. Shishya se Chirisam Shaya. That's same what he said. Very beautiful. Nice. And a spiritual also point. See the problem, what you said, very beautiful point, the inner one and this one. See, the problem with WHO, they can't discriminate between religion and spirituality. Religion is different, absolutely different from spirituality. And to my mind, which will be difficult for them to accept, dharma. You said also balance between the inner and outer. And that's the different dharma. Yetto abhyudaya nishya siddhi, say dharma. Abhyudaya means all around, abhyudaya, udaya, all around progress. Nishya siddhi is that. It's not, dharma is not only inside, dharma is both balanced, already different. So the material progress and inner development both together. And the details are there which are not discussed here. So that part is okay, but it was very, everybody was enlightening. And this was entertaining also. And so very wide field was there. And so very nice also. Congratulations for this organization.
Thank you so much, sir. And Vashishta, Vayala Karika and the Patanta. I take this opportunity to thank all my wonderful panelists who have cooperated so beautifully to get it done on time in such a knowledgeable, enlightening, enlightening, infotaining method. I now request Madan Mohan sir to come and give the memento and certificate for our panelists. Sir, you are our Vashishta, sir. Vashishta Maharishi. So you are Maharishi Madan Mohanji. So that's why. Bestest boy has to always do, sir. Sir, yesterday we gave you, sir. Now is your time to give, sir. So honoring Professor V. Gopal, sir. A big round of applause. Honoring Yogacharini Devasena Bhavanani, representing the Gitananda Tradition International. Honoring Professor Lakshmi Jatia. Honoring Professor Shobhana J. Ganesh. Very, very good. Honoring Professor Prahan Kumar of Community Medicine. Thank you very much. We will be going straight into the valedictory as all our prize winners have come. I request our panelists to be with us. Sir, chief guest. Sir, valedictory chief guest.